Thanks, Chief. And the referee for this one, Stephen Clark. Game 2 of the Sports Tab final series. Crowd close enough to capacity, if it isn't already. Still a few fans filing in. We're underway. The Dragons running from right to left for this first half. And an error straight away from Willie Tallow. Well knocked back by Stephen Clark. That was shades of last night. Ricky Stewart, the start from Manly. The ball ended up over the sideline. And Canterbury almost making what could have been a fateful error early. Barry Ward tackled short of the 20. Now they come forward with their skipper, Brett, off the Hetherington pass. A cluster of defenders there. Mundine led the charge for the Dragons. They work to the left with Robert Ralph. Not bad metres from Ralph, over the 30-metre line. And now Hetherington, they swing back to the open side. Kicking before the last through Travis Norton. They will hope for better kicks than that today, one would think. Lee Murphy fetching it on the first bounce from his 30-metre line.
Go. That's two. Come on, boys.
Sort of halfway this side, as the boys have mentioned. They won only 2 and drawn 1 of their past 10 after winning 9 in a row mid-season. Hardy carried the Dragons inside the Canterbury half for the first time. Now Pearson, big shot from the Bulldogs. Britt was up there with Price. And now Brown for Mundine. Some runners in motion. Murphy on the inside ball. Hetherington went low. Last tackle. The Saints are 40 metres out from the Canterbury line, and it's back with Rodwell. High ball from Rodwell. Pressure on young Lester on the wing, and Lester handles his first assignment brilliantly.
Oh yeah, great take there from Gary Lester. Fantastic stuff. Gavin Lester, and both sets of 6 by both teams. Very good. Good solid running from players like Ralph and Jeff Hardy, Darren Britt. In for a big one, this one.
And now back with Stephen Price. Some treatment there. Felsh over the top. Hardy was working low. And the Bulldogs with Britt very busy early, Darren Britt. He'd probably describe his year as indifferent, Darren Britt. He spent some time in the lower grades. He's also had some injuries along the way, but he's back when it's counted, and as captain. Now Murphy comes back for the Dragons. Tallow, a dumping tackle along with Travis Norton.
Yeah, one thing the Canterbury side have to do in defence is make sure they look after Lee Murphy. He's a very dangerous runner. And the same thing for the St. George side. Once Rod Silver does get the ball, he can certainly cut them up. They'll have to go up very quickly on him in a good line.
Fresh inside the Canterbury half, and they come to the right. Brown at first receiver, then Hardy. Still uncontracted to my knowledge for next season, one of the veterans in the St. George side. Now Pearson, nice ball on for Thompson. Pearson, an outstanding performer in '98, the front rower that time, passing before the line. And now across with Rodwell, kicking, touchdown from Norton. Chance here for the Bulldogs. Norton can't regather. Murphy will clean up for the Dragons.
Took the odds to the charge down, and well cleaned up by Murphy, who appears to be injured. The flat pass. They took plenty of time to kick the football. Well done, Travis Norton. He just couldn't clean it up.
So Saints, what could be described as a minor scare for them. Pearson, nice offload. Brown, now they get something going with Rodwell. Boisterous crowd here early. Price has been left behind for Canterbury. Stephen Price is down and in a bit of trouble. Dragons 35 metres out. There's Price. That's back near halfway. Dean offloading. All the way for Tracy. Tracy, another player making or chalking up his 100th first grade appearance today. Mundine able to offload. Felsh. Brown. Then across with Blacklock. Inside ball for Thompson. 10 metres out, Lance Thompson. Got through the tackle of Polomauta. Polomauta did enough to take the edge off the run. Coyne from dummy half. Out the back for Felsh. It comes loose. Now with Mundine. Wider now for Tracy. There's 2 on his outside. Tracy doesn't need them. Darren Tracy gets there for St. George. And the Dragons fans are standing and cheering. What a start for St. George.
Yeah, great start for the Dragons, and what a crowd we've got here. This is unbelievable scenes at Kogarah Oval. They're boisterous, they're on fire, the crowd, and so are the Dragons. A great bust made by Lance Thompson, the fiery redhead. He's a goer. And then from there, St. George have had all the ball the last 3 or 4 minutes. After the Travis Norton charge down, a couple of sets of 6, back to back. Coyne had a go at it. The flick out the back, it's the last tackle. A bit of luck there with that, and then Mundine summed it up. Beautiful stuff. And Darren Tracy sold the dummy. They couldn't get him. Saints in for the first.
Yeah, one thing that they tried to do was a little half-back. The winger wasn't too sure if he should come in, and Leicester, you can see Tracy going to him now. He starts to fold, and the little half-back and Corey Hughes just didn't have enough pace to get there, along with Rod Silver. Very, very good try by the Dragons. They've kept a heap of pressure on the Canterbury side, offloading at will, and putting this Canterbury side under a lot of pressure on the edges of the ruck.
Well, just finished mentioning Darren Tracy, 100 first-grade games. Finals experience, he's played 3 and won 2. Now, this could be a key area today for the Dragons. Lee Murphy, 58% success rate. Wayne Bartram under suspension. Rather controversially that he's out for 4 matches. Second week of that suspension being served by this game. So Bartram obviously hoping that the Dragons can take it at least a fortnight further. Wasn't it a great reception from the Dragons fans to that Tracy try? The advantage of the home ground in the final series had worked Canberra's way last night. Parramatta will have that advantage tonight, and Melbourne tomorrow. You'll see it all on the wide world of sports. Murphy's first kick. It's swinging back from Murphy. Oh, it was dusty off the boot, but he had it in control. 6-0 to the Dragons. Will take a break. 6 gone.
Look out.
Welcome back to Cogra. Darryl Halligan gets us back underway and taken on the fly by Murphy. What had his confidence been up after landing that sideline conversion?
Well, that was the worst looking kick I've ever seen in my life, but it still sailed over the red dot there. A great start for the Dragons. Felch and Pearson doing their job well.
It didn't get much higher than the crossbar all the way, but he swung it back from considerable metres outside the right upright, and Brown cleaned up there. The good news for Canterbury, Stephen Price has recovered, and now with Thompson. Able to offload out the back there for Pearson. 3 defenders in there for Canterbury. Going low is Robert Relf. And now Rodwell on the last tackle. Leicester handled his first kick well. This one's over his head and into touch. It'll be a Canterbury feed, 15 out from their own line.
A very good option there by Matthew Rodwell to get the kick downfield. Stephen Price is the man that's coming to try and stop it. We'll get that charge down once again. Leicester, there's no way he'll be able to take that kick. Great little roll. Gets him an extra, around about 40 metres.
Man on screen, Rod Silver. Mark Coyne listed him as the danger man on the Canterbury side.
In you go, steady, steady.
Now Hughes working the scrum. And Tolomouta up for Silver. There's that step from Rod Silver. Straight past Mundine. He wasn't quite in position to make the tackle. Silver can make you look silly, there's no doubt about it. Ralph offloading. Hetherington back with Brett. Nice offloads from the Bulldogs. Hughes at the end of that rush.
Come on, come on, come on.
Outside there 30 with Norton. On his outside is young Talau. Made his first grade debut only in round 17 against South Sydney. And now back with Norton. In the meantime, Price has gone to the bench for Canterbury.
Waiting for you, waiting for you.
The Bulldogs right on halfway with Hetherington. Here is the replacement player, young David Thompson.
Here it is. Come on, back to me.
Another player who made his first grade appearance in that match against the Rabbitohs and scored a try. Norton kicking from the Dragons 40. Spiralling kick for Murphy. And he does well. It was ducking away just at the last moment. Murphy having a fine game early. The first 9 minutes of this one. And Nathan Brown. Up for Pearson. It was a Pearson offload in the lead up to that try that helped the Dragons get on a roll, as now Brown almost carries them back to halfway. The insiders at the Dragons will tell you he's not 100% fit, Nathan Brown, coming into the match. And Mundine inside for Felch. Felch has got the hands free, no support there. 5 inside the Canterbury half. Up with Rodwell, last tackle, peppering that corner of Gavin Lester. Silver will go back. He's posted in goal, Rod Silver. All the chasers are there and Silver is trapped. A bear trap from the Dragons.
Wonderful kick there from Rodwell. Pinpoint accuracy. No doubt he's practiced that many times over the past 7 or 8 months, waiting for an opportunity to drop one in there. Put some pressure on again. Well taken by Silva, but look at the chase. The kick's only as good as the chase, and that was a beauty. And just before that, Felch. He was standing there like Hercules and couldn't find any support.
Stay behind.
So 10 gone. The Dragons up by 6. Darren Tracy the early try. Murphy the sideline conversion, and Lance Thompson able to offload. Pearson and away for Murphy. 30 out. Hetherington there, lifting tackle. Slams him down. Jason Hetherington on Lee Murphy. And now Pearson. Turning inside for Brown. Nice variation from Corey Pearson. He's mixing it up. And Mundine, dummy half. Long ball from Mundine, not a good one. Not past the legs of Thompson. Forced Hardy back. Jeff Hardy was out on the right wing. And here is Felch. Coming to centre field. Able to offload, back with Coyne. Flicking the ball back for Mundine. Brilliant tackle, Silva. Mundine hoping for the quick play, the ball. Brown, they're in trouble here, the doggies. Rodwell, Blacklock more than trouble. Blacklock the swan dive to finish. Well, this is party time here for St. George. 2 tries. First 12, first 10 you can make it. 10-0 to the Dragons.
Wonderful play there by the St. George side. They're really on song today. They changed their game so much around the rush. You think they're going to go wide, they come back up the middle. On this occasion, just too many red and white jumpers out there for the Canterbury. And hey-ya-ho-wah!
Yeah, the big thing about it is their right-hand defence, Canterbury, is really under a lot of pressure. As again, Rodwell goes to the line, selects the nice little short ball there to Blacklock. But what amazed me was that Leicester was playing inside. Corey Hughes was out on the wing. There is Corey. Leicester there is going in the between. He should have been on the wing, and Talal should have been inside him.
In his defence, Wiz, I think he had gone in there to cover after Felch had made it offloaded that really good ball once again. Felch has played very well. He's had the chance to offload a couple of times, has done once. And the lovely pass from Rodwell.
What the St. George side are doing too, Fatty, they're playing on the edges of the ruck and dragging the defence of Canterbury in because they play that up and into style defence. That's why Leicester, like you said, did have to come in, get the cover. And again, they have found Waddy on that right-hand side defence, the Canterbury side. They've got to really fix that up and get some messages out there as soon as possible.
What a season young Nathan Blacklock has had. His first final, celebrates with a try, and I think ER was a good description of the dive. I don't really know how you would describe it. Right at the finish, it was like he was coming off the starting blocks to do the 50 freestyle. So, time for some soul searching for the Bulldogs. They had won their last 4 going into this. Possession is going all the way of St. George early. They have 2 tries on the board, and Murphy to make it a 12-0 lead. 15 out, 20 metres in from touch. We'll hear from Paul Harrigan shortly. Now Murphy, 2 years ago playing in the under-19s for the Dragons. Again, he's got that little swing. He dips it in that right upright. 2 converted tries to the home team. St. George 12, Canterbury 0. And Chief, what did you make of this try to Blacklock?
Yeah, Matthew Rodwell here with a great little sleight of hand, goes to the line and just draws a beautiful little path there to Blacklock. Unfortunately, that Canterbury player there just coming out of the line, but I'll tell you what, they're looking very sharp.
Indeed. Paul Harrigan, guest of ours in commentary today, and Pearson for St. George over the 20-metre line. Every hit up from him is proving valuable. Coin offloads this time. That's probably the biggest worry, the offloads that are coming. Here's Blacklock wriggling his way free of 2 tackles. Now outside the 30. Colin Ward now out there for St. George. He's played in the grand final with the Dragons in '96. Mundine stepping. Rodwell loses the ball. Britt, an unlikely interceptor.
I think this is the only time that Canterbury have actually been in their half attacking with the ball. They've been down there defending a few times, so they're going to try and turn this now into some sort of points and keep playing the left-hand side of St. George because they are short there.
Hetherington up with Thompson to emphasise Gary's point, the defensive had to do. Hetherington's tackle counts already in double figures. And here he is, Hetherington, working to the left with Polomata. Nice inside ball. Not bad defence either from Hardy. They're aiming up in all departments. That was on young Martini, the centre. It comes up for Britt. He gets it offload to Silva. It looked forward. It's allowed to play on. That's called forward, and deliberately so.
Off the ground. Got a hand on you.
He's saying that it was passed off the ground. A magic pass from Britt. Absolutely brilliant stuff. It did go forward. Maybe it came off the St. George hand. And he's saying he's... Oh, well...
I reckon that's play on.
He wasn't held. Dead set wasn't held. Play on. But the pass went forward anyway, Andrew. I think he would have pulled it up for that. So, a bit of relief for the Dragons. They look good then, Canterbury. First time in possession in the 20-metre zone of the Dragons.
So back with Colin Ward, and he may have collected just a little high. He was falling into the tackle of Norton. And now Tracy. Oh, good stuff, isn't it, from Hetherington? He is leading the defensive tally, now up to 11 tackles, Jason Hetherington. He's playing the match like it could be his last. And it might well be for the Bulldogs if the trend continues of this early passage for St. George. Here's Thompson. No relation, Lance Thompson and David Thompson on opposing sides. Now Nathan Brown. Cut-out ball, Mundine. His support player was Murphy, overran the football. Then back to the right with Lance Thompson.
One area that I reckon Canterbury have got to get a little bit tougher, and that's in their defence around the ruck area. They're really letting the St. George side and forwards especially make too many metres up the middle of the ruck.
Bobbles kick. Leicester. Oh, what a take from Leicester, and then hammered by Lenihan. Young Gavin Leicester, they've targeted him. Halligan is getting no work at all, and look at Leicester. Like a ragdoll at the end of the Lenihan tackle. One thing was he came up with a take. Now Stone, former Dragon, charging into the defensive line. Give it to the left of Polamatta kicking, seeing that Blacklock's up in the line. Big chase here for Murphy. This is an excellent kick from Craig Polamatta. Chasers are getting there now. Murphy is back to the field of play and linking up with Lenihan. Steps away from Talau. Norton went low. Murphy up for Tracy. All the Dragons back on side. The moment the first tackle was affected, another good sign for St. George. And Brown up with Hardy. Shoulder charge goes wrong from Ralph. Brown with Ward. Just running at an angle. Settler, if you like. Ralph was low on him. Brown up for Thompson. They stand back this time. Pearson taken by the collar, able to offload and handled there. That's play on for Rodwell. Last tackle, Hardy. And Brown from halfway, the left footer. He's found the gap between Leicester and Silva. So they're getting some distance from the kick. And Silva confronted by a line of St. George defenders, and once he started to go backwards, he was in awful trouble.
Yeah, another great chase there from Jeff Hardy. Brings up another tackle. It's all St. George at the moment. Canterbury, there's a few walkers out there for them. Another big St. George tackle there. But St. George have had to, Canterbury had to make twice as many tackles as St. George. It's always the hard work, and that's why there's a few walkers.
Let's take a comment from Paul Harrigan on the sideline.
Yeah, just the same thing. Canterbury are really tight at the moment. They need to complete their sets and just hang in there at the moment.
It's an onslaught, not just on the field, but the work over there getting from the St. George fans. Here's a relieving penalty for the Bulldogs. Trying to get them out of trouble. Robert Ralph goes to the bench. A bit of distress as well.
Just see once again, this is the only second time I think in the half that they've actually been inside the 50 of the Canterbury side. Once again, they've got to play on the edges as now Polamatta makes it to the 40.
Okay, Corey, call your mates back, call them back with you.
And Norton to the left with Ward. Strong charge.
Time of possession there, 65% for St. George and only 35% for the Canterbury side. That's why they are looking so tight already in this game.
Hetherington thought about a blindside shot, a bit of a breakdown. Polamatta and Martini. 20 metres out from the St. George line. Young Queenslander in the centres for Canterbury. A late replacement for Matthew Ryan. Stone up for Norton. Good pass. Equally good the tackle of Rodwell. Now Silva darting away. Tries the grubber kick. A ricochet off Murphy. And then I thought Murphy may have been held by Silva. It's a changeover in any case.
Back here, back here, back here, back here. Go!
Canterbury were hoping for a restart of the tackle count.
Hold it, hold it, hold.
I'm sure they were. Here is Lenihan. Inside that 20-metre zone. Ward. Oh, they've got him. Price lined him up, got him just above the waist. Murphy went down quickly.
That's the sort of tackle that can turn things around, Andrew, with a big defence like that. Keep them probably in their 30 metres, make them kick out.
St. George, this has been the best defensive set of 6 from Canterbury. They've reached the last tackle, still inside their 30. Brown, kick away. Silva would like to keep this one in play. He does that on the 20-metre line. A dummy to Lester. And a hand with a tackle. Well, Tracy fired up early too. He was leading the chase. Here's Halligan. That's his first touch to my recollection in the game. Coming in off the left wing. And with Troy Stone. Between his stints at St. George and Canterbury, he had a year with the Hunter Mariners. Hetherington to the right. Hughes working with Norton. And offloading to Silva. Now Hetherington. Chance to stretch left. Waters with it. Right arm free. Good trick that to exchange to the left while under the attention of 2 defenders. Mundine and Simpson. Price. Short pass. Attacking the fringe. Canterbury with plenty of attack. Grimaldi over to offload. Hetherington overhead ball. The Bulldogs have struck back. Halligan in the corner for Canterbury. Grimaldi had only been on there for a fraction, really. Heavily involved in the lead-up. 12-4 to the Dragons.
That's a good play for the Bulldogs. A lovely ball from Stephen Price to Grimaldi. This is the pass. Doesn't go forward. This one from Hetherington. Oh, only by a metre. St. George players looked immediately at the referee and blew up.
Well, they certainly did, but I tell you what, you've got to put this try down to Stephen Price, that lovely short ball. Grimaldi kept himself alive, but little work by the dummy half of Hetherington to get the ball over the top, and all you've got to do is be there as a wing, as Halligan did, and make sure yourself is available. That's what Canterbury have got to do. They've got to play on the edges of the ruck of St. George, and that's where they'll find their gaps. It was a forward by a mile, not by a metre.
And you'd wonder how the referee and linesman missed it, but not to worry. It's a very, very good game of rugby league we've got on our hands today. Of course, sudden death, loser gone for 98, and the winners a chance to take out the inaugural NRL Premiership.
Young Blake Grimaldi played a couple of seasons here at St. George, and he's off to England at the end of this year. Great work, his first touch. Here's Halligan. He's been kicking above 90% over the past 4 or 5 weeks. This one from a couple of metres in from touch. Look at that. You'd like him kicking for your life, Darryl Halligan. The best in the business, and there's plenty of good ones in the NRL. 12-6. We'll take a break from Cogra.
After that try in the corner, the conversion was converted by number 5, Darryl Halligan. 27 minutes, 22 minutes gone. The Dragons 12, Canterbury 6.
Back with the action, game 2 of the Sports Tab final series. 22 gone here at Cogra. Great match, really. St. George and Canterbury, and the Dragons up by 6. There's been some terrific defence and some enterprising attack from both teams as Canterbury now warm to the challenge with Ward over the 30. Hetherington. Good dart. Jason Hetherington, 15 metres, almost over the sideline. Coyne was doing his best to maybe push an arm or a hand over. Some rugged stuff now. Felsh in there with Ward. Colin Ward that was on Barry Ward. Now Stone, 40 metres out from the St. George line. The game turning a bit back in Canterbury's favour now. And it came about from a good defensive set of 6. High ball for Murphy. Some interference on the way through. 2 of the players hit the deck. Price and also Tracy.
Yeah, the 2 number 11s came together. He's playing well, Stephen Price. Plenty of enthusiasm.
Well, I reckon Darren Tracy should be penalised for that. The infringement on Price. That was a stand-up. Lodge should have been on the field straight away.
Let him up. Go let him up. Can't get that arm over the top.
And now Hetherington has been penalised for Canterbury. So St. George get the penalty inside their 20. And Mundine happy just to slow things down. He realises the game was turning. Dragons back in possession. Ward, big hit. Murphy loses it. Error before the first tackle from the Dragons.
Yeah, Colin Ward there. An error of judgment, really. When you get hit like this, you get smashed. That's a panic pass, that one. No reason to offload in your own 30-metre zone. And they may pay the price, the Dragons.
Scrum. Great chance for Canterbury. Hughes is on. That's Glenn Hughes. Up for Talau. Into the tackle of Brunker, almost striding through. 20 metres out. Hughes a dummy half. Away here for Stone. Running it, young Ben Custo out there for the Dragons in 16. So they've used 3 of their replacements now. St. George, Hetherington, and Hughes, Norton. Nice passing, crisp passing from the Bulldogs. Grimaldi was at the end of it. Now 5 metres out from the St. George line. And with Barry Ward spinning as he gets to the line. Spun to ground at the end by Ward. Hetherington, Hughes, 10 out, stepping into the tackle of Felsch, collected over the shoulder. Luke Felsch will cop a caution here. Let's hear what Stephen Clark has to say about this tackle. In fact, he's calling out Simpson.
Yeah, he's clipped him a bit high. Just get the arm down, you popped him around the neck, get him down.
Had a very good view, took his time. It was right around the choppers. Took his time to deliver that, and the crowd roared. The Canterbury section of the crowd anyway.
I'll tell you what,
arm, yeah, it was a bit pretty ordinary from Simpson.
Yeah, he was going down the tackle though, that Corey Hughes. He is a little man, the halfback. They're going to give some leniency to some of the players, making as Dale Halligan adds another 2.
And how quick was that from Halligan? From right in front, he took barely 20, 30 seconds to land that one. 2 from 2 to Daryl Halligan, and 12-8 the score now. After the Dragons led 12-0 early, tries to Tracy and also Blacklock. Murphy 2 from 2 for the Bulldogs. This is finals football, it's good stuff. Canterbury, the fight back that their supporters were hoping for. And Custo on the restart. Wobbly kick, Custo headed off to Parramatta next season, who will be in action tonight against the North Sydney Bears. In fact, the winner of this match will meet the loser of tonight. Grimaldi now with it for Canterbury, almost back to the 30-metre line. He's made a difference, Tony Grimaldi. Here is Hughes. Bit of dash at first receiver. Fallamouta. Up and away now. With Stone over the 40-metre line. Custo was low in defence. Rodwell over the top. They're settling into quite a battle now, these two teams. Kick through for Murphy. 2 fullbacks have had plenty of work to do. Murphy was hoping that Lenihan would wrap around there. In the end, he just had to cop the tackle. And here is Brunker. Into the price tackle. 35. Oh, that one forward from Custo at dummy half. Oh, that's a real breakdown. Tell you what, they're falling apart, St. George.
Well, honestly, 3 weeks ago when they played Canterbury here, they did exactly the same thing. They played some good football, but too many mistakes. And they'll throw this game away. They had the very handy 12-0 lead. Canterbury on the way back.
They certainly are. And I was speaking to David Wade earlier in the week, and he was saying that his side are playing injured. And just as the game gets a little bit tough and a little bit older, they're starting to do things that they wouldn't have done in the first 10 or 15 minutes of this opening stanza.
Possession has turned 2. So is the game. Canterbury getting plenty of ball now. But coming also from St. George errors. Talau. 30 out from the Dragons line. Use a dummy half, slow play of the ball. Mundine was a little tardy to clear the ruck. And the Bulldogs now find themselves inside the Dragons 20. Fallamouta up with Britt. Britt with support left and right. Taking the tackle of Felsch. Now on the 10-metre line. Fallamouta swings them to the left. Hughes, cut out ball. Cuts them all out. Missed the touch judge, missed the Dragons mascot and into the fence.
The St. George Dragons got it, he's away. He might score. He's kidding. Oh, ball.
Tyler, wait till the ball's away. Wait. Just wait, boys, wait. Got it in down to Tyler. Steady.
So wide our cameras couldn't even pick it up.
Canterbury. Front of that leg.
A real let off.
Just get it in, mate.
St. George, Chief mentioned before, completing sets of 6 for Canterbury. Now it's a mission for St. George. Let's go to Paul on the sideline.
Yeah, you can really tell the difference now. I think that the tide has started to turn there for Canterbury. Unfortunate that one, though, but they've just got to keep completing those sets of 6 and building pressure, and they can win this game.
Another mistake. Fallamouta comes up with it for Canterbury. The blue and whites are on a march now. With Stone. revelling in the going, 15 out. 3 in the tackle. Ward had to finish off over the top. Rodwell and Mundine were low. Polamatta up for Brett. Running back towards the post. Gets the ball away to Silver. Silver has scored for Canterbury. And Darren Britt is rightfully getting pats on the back from all of his teammates. That was magical from the Bulldogs captain.
Magical. It was impossible. How did he get that away? Absolutely stunning pass. And talking of stunning, St. George side, they are dead set stunned. They've thrown away this lead through stupid, idiotic mistakes, and their coach will be absolutely furious. Look, they can't even get there for a dummy half. Great work from Polamatta, and then 2 tackles later, Darren Britt. Go son, absolute genius. And what about the support play from Rocket Rod Silver?
Mate, he's unbelievable once he goes forward, isn't he? Darren Britt just goes to the line, but just watch Tracy. Doesn't come in on his man, stays out wide. He thought the tackle was made there, Murphy, and there's Tracy just there, just gets there too late, and it's just right on the line for a try. But great work, Rod Silver, tremendous backing up.
Tell you what, he only just got there. Silver looking at that replay. I didn't realise it was that close. Watching it live as now Halligan's kick successful. 3 from 3. We'll take a break from Cogra. Canterbury in front for the first time.
Official conversion by Darren Halligan. Canterbury 14, lead the Dragons 12.
Yeah. Hang on.
Welcome back to Cogra. 9 out from half-time. St. George led 12 points to 0. Any momentum they had early has well and truly gone. Canterbury back. And even the edges off the crowd, I think, here at Cogra.
Well, Andrew, this game of rugby league is all about possession. If you remember, Saints were leading quite comfortably. They had all the ball. Now the possession is about 50-50, and it's about to go in Canterbury's favour. Because there's more mistakes, this time defensive errors from the St. George side. Getting tired, getting lazy around the ruck, not willing to get off. Look, Luke Phelps not even making an attempt to get up there. And it's all Canterbury for the last 5-10 minutes.
Back with him at home.
So they go from the free kick. Hetherington. Look at the venom they're all running with now. Canterbury. St. George backpedaling. Brunker the tackle on Thompson. Here is Brett. 35 out from the St. George line. Hetherington up with Polamatta. There's the runners. It's Talau running into the clutches of Brunker. He had to take him ball and all. He had to go a little high, and he's been hurt, Brunker. 20 metres out from the St. George line. Hetherington infield for Brett. They're looking for another offload. They almost get one. Thompson was in support. Hetherington, blindside shot from Canterbury. Norton. Tackled by Brunker. Looks so lively now, Canterbury, with the ball in their hands. Back with Polamatta. Kick is coming the way of Blacklock. It may not reach him. It'll come down centre field. Brilliant take, that one. Mundine, the man, answers the call at the right time for St. George.
Well, here's the man that has to turn things around. Anthony Mundine waited for the ball to come down. A great take there, but he's got to take more control of the St. George side and get them going forward once again.
You had him one. He tackled him once, which was fine, and then he scored it by coming in over the top the second time, all right? You've got to get up.
This is what followed the bomb. Shane Martini. You heard Clark saying he tackled him the first time and then had another go at him. Can they complete a set of 6, St. George? Here's Felsh pulling up as he got to the line. Cops the treatment from the Bulldogs defenders. Brett added all of his weight to the tackle. Thompson, blindside shot. Thompson with 13 tackles, 4 hit-ups. They come centre field with Pearson. Hetherington is there. 14 tackles for Hetherington, leading the way for the Bulldogs. Coyne an offload. A good one for Simpson. 40 metres out from the Canterbury line. They come centre field with Brown. Switching on the inside for Pearson. Not quite the speed at the moment that they started with. Blacklock offloading there for Murphy. Blacklock trailed through in support. Didn't get the return pass. Last tackle. They come to the centre with Rodwell. He gets a short kick in. But chases I thought Brown, the 9, was offside. Straight out of the action.
Well, one thing I've noticed now is, I did say that the Canterbury side had to get tougher around the ruck area. They certainly have done that. More ball in the hand. They really get in the face of the St. George forwards and putting pressure on them all day long now.
Brett's cocked it up. And Felsh is able to offload. Brown. He's going to play the first knock on against Canterbury, ruling there was no advantage to St. George. And I just sort of got full fatty that Brown gave Luke Felsh for the pass.
Yeah. Advantage was played here. Well, I didn't actually see a knock on. I don't know if it bounced first, but the referee did. Canterbury now have possession once again.
Ruled obviously there was advantage. Now the Bulldogs make a mistake.
A bit of luck here, a penalty. A scrum penalty, offside St. George. So nothing is going their way. He's saying never back.
You see them on the video replay there. They are a mile offside. Better off giving yourself an extra yard. They would have got the ball back and the scrum feed. They came from the linesman. Telling the referee they were offside by about 2 metres.
So going back to the first incident, he ruled that St. George did have an advantage. Felsh by pushing the pass. And Brown not able to gather cleanly, squandered that. Now Canterbury with Britt. 35 metres out from the St. George line. Definitely looks to be a try in this Canterbury side before half-time. He's offloading for Martini, 30 metres out. Hetherington turns the ball back for Price. Played in this year's State of Origin series, Stephen Price. The successful Queensland side. Polomauta with Ralph and then Britt. There was some jeers from the crowd for a forward pass. Norton on the 20-metre line, puts the kick in. Murphy now back to in goal. He cleans up for the Dragons. No chances there from the Dragons fullback. Line drop out for St. George.
Some very enterprising play there from the Canterbury side. Haven't they come to life once they've got some possession? That pass did look a fraction forward. Some good second phase play from Norton. He's having a very good game along with Stephen Price and Troy Stone have been Canterbury's best forwards. And that's good thinking. He's a former 5'8", now playing in the lock forward position. And he's a good kid, Travis Norton.
Another Queenslander in this Canterbury side. And from the line drop up. Ralph gets the pass from Polomauta. Robert Ralph into the tackle. Front on like two battering rams, Tracy and Ralph. He just dusts himself off and gets back up, Robert Ralph. Where's Lester? Into the arms of Felsh and Brown, 20 metres out. Canterbury, 3 out from half-time. Having fought their way back from 12-0 down. Hughes, return ball there for Britt. Silver pulls it in. Knock on the call, I agree with Clark on that one.
No, it was a knock on that. St. George,
A little knock on there. They're trying a few things on the edge of the ruck now, the Canterbury side. Darren Britt throwing the ball back there. That's where the knock on occurred with his left hand. What about this tackle here? These two are at each other's throat all day long. I think Ralph, he does come off better in that clash of the second rowers.
Yeah, but Gary, there's no value in that. I mean, he could bounce away and he actually made a couple more metres. You're better off just...
That's why I said Ralph come off better off.
Conventional tackle, that's right.
And that replay showed that Tracy also took a piece of Nathan Brown in his chest charge. Save that for the mosh pit. There's St. George on their own 30-metre line. Thompson, blindside play. Up to the 40. And Brown with Felsh. Oh, it's heavy stuff from the doggies. Been a grand final experience showing there. Britt and Ralph on the youngster. Now Mundine up for Blacklock. Have a good understanding, that pair. Mundine, 35 metres out. He kicks well before the last. I don't know who that was to, apart from Gavin Lester at the back for Canterbury. That's a strange one from Mundine, and Lester's going to make him pay. That was the last line of defence, Luke Felsh. Robert Ralph. One of the Dragons down, it's Lee Murphy.
With no fullback at the moment, playing a 12-man team. Lee Murphy's still down.
Here's Britt. Now Lenahan's got the message, dropping back to fullback. Murphy will go to the left wing, so they're back in normal formation, although Polomauta kicks perhaps one tackle too late. Lenahan having to chase. Gee, that's a good kick from Polomauta for weight. Lenahan in goal. Halligan, one-on-one makes the tackle. We'll get one more set of 6 before half-time, the doggies.
Good thinking play there from Polomauta. And I'll tell you what, some good work from Lenihan, because no one else is dropping back. He came from the far wing to drop back as fullback because Murphy was still out of the play, so he has saved a try there, Lenihan.
Tremendous work. Polamatta was short on the left-hand side. As you said, Paul, Lenihan coming from this far left, put it right in the corner. Good work by Halligan to get there to make the tackle. Another set of 6 just before half-time. They'd love to score here. Maybe even a drop goal.
Rodwell, line drop out. Keep an eye on that clock coming up to half-time. Silva back with Grimaldi. Again, his work in the lead up to the first Canterbury try was one right out of the box, as was Darren Britt in the lead up to the second. Hetherington. Dummy. Hetherington, tremendous competitor. He also played in this year's Origin series. He was dumped for the third. Polamatta kicking. Deft kick, covered up by Tracy. Half-time siren, I'm sure, has sounded. Clark gets the message now, and that completes a wonderful first 40 minutes. St. George led by 12 points to 0. The Bulldogs, they matter the fight back. As we go to a break, Canterbury lead the Dragons by 14 points to 12. And welcome back to Cogra. Fine afternoon here in Sydney for the second elimination final, as the Bulldogs return. And return they did in the first half after trailing 12-0. 14-12 at the break, they lead. And how about we have a look at some of these statistics out of that first half.
There they are. St. George had all the running in the first 15 minutes, and then it turned for the worse for them. 10 out of 29 completions, that's just not good enough. They turned over possession many times there. The handling errors about 4 each. Missed tackles not bad in this pretty warm day here at Cogra Oval today. And for Canterbury, 8 out of 22 is pretty ordinary, but they have kicked on the 4th tackle on a few occasions.
Now the work rates as St. George return for the second half.
Well, you see there now Lance Thompson leading the tackles and the hit-ups. He works all over the place. Nathan Brown probably only played 25 minutes of that half there. 12 and 4 hit-ups. But again, Darren Tracy, they're really just got to start working for each other there, because they are struggling a little bit in that work rate, especially in defence, because they keep turning the ball over. When you look at the Canterbury side here, Jason Hetherington, well, magnificent game around the ruck area there, 14 tackles and 4 hit-ups, especially out of dummy half there. Darren Britt, the man leading by example, 11 tackles and 8 hit-ups with a try inside there. But good work by all the Canterbury side there, working as a real hard pack.
Right then, ready for the second half in this elimination final. Only 40 minutes ahead for one of these two teams. That will complete their 98 campaigns. A sudden death clash as Phelps gets the first hit up of the half. We'll hear from Paul Harrigan in just a moment. St. George side made quite a fantastic start. As here is Brown, up with Hardy, almost to the 30-metre line. And now Brown, blindside, Pearson. With a stormer, his start to the game, but as the possession turned, he was silenced. Now Felsh offloading the ball to Murphy. The Dragons have started as they did the first. Back with Mundine. 20 metres out from the line. Knocked down, no. Hardy with it. Kicks there for Blacklock. Polamatta gets back. That's the play of the match from Craig Polamatta.
Oh, yeah. Sensational stuff from Polamatta. Brilliant play from St. George first up. Their short passing game has been very good all day. That's a beauty from Phelps onto a rampaging Lee Murphy. He looked desperately for support, found the man, and there's the man now. Offloads again to Jeff Hardy. Belying his 34, 35 years, Jeff Hardy got there in support. The kick was a good option. Polamatta.
That's a save, a try save from Polamatta, and Pearson comes back from the line dropout. Now the fans, they rally behind the home team. Coyne with Thompson. Wider there with Phelps. 25 metres out. Centrefield with St. George side. Price and Britt the tacklers. And with Rodwell, cut-out ball almost collected the face of Brunker. Now 15 metres out. And back to Centrefield. Brown. They're standing deep. Mundine on the 20. That pass has gone past Coyne. He goes back and puts pressure on Blacklock. They lose 20 metres on the play, St. George. Coyne with Mundine. Puts that dance on. Now across field. Ward cleans him up. Last tackle. They're back where they started from the line dropout. Here's Rodwell's bomb. Chase coming through. Silva. In the end, not really under a great deal of pressure. And almost back to the 20.
Yeah, good work really by St. George, though. They should have ended up with a better option, though, of going to the line and putting the ball on the ground and try and contain Rod Silva in his own 10. Now they are struggling to get back on side St. George. Darren Britt hits it up to the 30.
Carts it up to the 30. Gives us a chance to go to Paul Harrigan. The halftime report, Chief.
Yeah, first of all, St. George, David Waite was happy with the start. The enthusiasm and ball control was fantastic. It needs a little bit of effort in the kicking department, and also Mundine to get a bit more involved even. Canterbury, Steve Fakes was pleased with the comeback. Wants their completions around about 70% in the sets of 6 department, and just wants to keep on building pressure, a simple game plan.
Paul was talking. Watch this kick of Craig Pollamouta from inside his own half. Ends up just a couple of metres short of the corner post. It's been immaculate, really, the kicking game of Craig Pollamouta today. He kicked that match-winning field goal last week against the Steelers. And the 14-12 scoreline, perhaps a one-pointer down the track, could well decide this game. Last year in Super League, Canterbury actually were knocked out in the first week of the finals by 1 point at the hands of Penrith. Blacklock the man tackle. Coyne coming across field. Some doubts in the St. George camp about Coyne's fitness as well. He's battling on. Thompson sandwiched between 2 defenders and got away from both. And Brown. Pearson carries over the 40. Offload. Speculator really, just hoping someone would be there, and Price an easy tackle on Mundine. Brown up with Murphy. I think the Dragons quite as impressive as they were in the first half, in the first 15 minutes. From inside their 40, Rodwell's kick. Well in field though. Halligan. Allow this to dribble over the dead ball line. No, back from in goal comes Daryl Halligan. Hardy the first man there. He's described him as 34 or 35 years of age. I don't think he's far wrong. There's Lester over the 10-metre line. Now Hetherington away with Ward. And Ward, one of the success stories of the season at Canterbury. Before this year, he'd started in only 4 games. And he'd been playing first grade for 4 or 5 seasons, but only had started 4 times. He's been a regular this year. Some loose play from Canterbury. Silva got to rather Tallow it was. Hughes inside for Price. Quick hands there on the inside. Grimaldi up to the 40-metre line. And now Hetherington back with Corey Hughes. Kicks downfield between Murphy and Blacklock. Murphy in the end got a good bounce. Just as quickly as he started his dash, it was closed by Martini. Marcoyne into the crossfield. Ward is there in defence for Canterbury. His stats, double figures in hit-ups and tackles. Nathan Brown. Pearson back for Hardy. Now Blacklock takes off from dummy halves. One of the Dragons' 2 try scorers in that first half. Tracy was the other. Now back with Rodwell. That's been charged down. That kick, a deflection. It's play on here for Coyne. Puts the big boot to it. Silva goes back to in goal. Coyne now streaming through on Silva. Misses. Silva past Thompson. Silva back to the field of play. Exciting league from the Doggies and the Dragons.
He's too good, Rod Silva. You can't give him any room to move. He didn't have much then. And now Lester's away.
Yeah, but Lester over the 30-metre line, almost back to the 40. Returns again Canterbury's way. Ralph offloads for Halligan. Almost now to halfway, Thompson in defence. It looked a tied Thompson as he got through to try and make the tackle on Silva. He was urging Mark Coyne on. And Hetherington, Pollamouta, sleight of hand. Able to offload now, Halligan. On the ground quickly there. It's a come from Robert Ralph, and now back they go with Lenihan to the goal line. Trying to position Murphy. Lenihan, he does that, Murphy. Now he's looking for Brunker. Collected from behind by Norton. On the Dragons 20. Wanting the Canterbury defence back to 10. Plenty of talk from referee Clark. Mundine headed across field. A reminder about tonight too. We'll be coming your way live from Parramatta Stadium. The Eels and the Bears. The loser of that match to play the winner of this one. It's Friday night. All the Sports Tab final action on the wide world of sports as Felsh carries to the 40-metre line. They've eaten up 5 tackles. And Hardy for Rodwell. This time he gets a clean kick in. Again, it's straight down the centre. Silver with a bounce, and now wrapping around is Halligan. Boys, I'm getting the impression the first scorer in this half is going to win the match.
It looks that way, doesn't it? Both sides really just trying to feel each other out as Talau takes the ball forward. But I think the Canterbury side at this stage so far are in front. The St. George side in defence are just really standing and waiting for the Canterbury forwards to come to them. That's allowing the holes to open up around the ruck area.
Richter man, they weren't able to get him to ground. And Hetherington, Hughes hasn't run the ball all that often today. Corey Hughes, he's been in that distribution role. Polamatta looks appealing for a second challenge there from Hardy. They attack the blind with Stone. Now inside the Dragons half. Look at the run here from Stone. Keeps the legs pumping. Back for Martini. Martini had support. Now they link up with Silva. Still trouble here for St. George. Silva. Was that a forward pass? Crowd thinks so. Play on. Norton. Now out to Lester. Lester. A corridor to the try line. Not quite. 10 metres out. And Canterbury, they are set to the left. It's the last tackle. Hughes is with it for the Bulldogs. Tries the short kick. Murphy diffuses. I think Hughes would like that one over again.
Well, that was shades of the 70s. That was dead set forward. Another forward pass that's been missed. But Canterbury famous for the way they threw the ball around 20 years ago, and it's back at Belmore. Now at Cogra, of course, today, the Canterbury side, they are playing terrific football.
Over here to St. George.
You've got to let him go. It's both ways, mate. You'll let him go.
Jason Hetherington, the man coming up with the penalty, just holding down the St. George player. A little bit disappointed because I think they had them on the rack then.
And now Colin Ward from the free kick. The one goes low. That was Ralph. Martini over the top. The young centre, Lance Thompson. Goes back to halfway, goes Lance. With a contract for a number of years at St. George, his future very much in the red and white. And wider here with Tracy. And he's lost it in the tackle. That went forward at the first instance. Bit of controversy on that decision. We'll take a break here though from Cogra, will we? 49 gone, 14-12, the Bulldogs over the Dragons.
Let's hold it and settle it down. Let's wait. Wait till we get in. Wait.
Welcome back. Canterbury winning this scrum just inside their own half. 14-12 the scoreline. And straight away, Polamatta. Stripped of the ball, Murphy. Well, he's ruled the strip at Hampton after he's called held.
Oh, the crowd's gone berserk here.
Well, the tackle was complete and then you stripped it. That's what I call it. Otherwise, it was fine. No, it was one-on-one. It was one-on-one fine, but the tackle was already complete.
It just seems that every dusty decision has gone against the Dragons today. The forwarders aren't happy. Now, it was there that he had called held. I mean, he was going nowhere, Polamatta. He was being dragged along the ground, and the ball was stolen. Halligan now, a long-range shot at penalty goal.
Tell you what, I'm looking at some of these St. George supporters here in the stand. I'm glad I chose not to wear the black and white striped shirt today.
I've got ropes, axes, anything could happen here.
I'll tell you what, the referee was right though. He'd actually called the play, you could hear him. He's already said he's held. He sees on the ground there. He just goes on with the tackle. He's played pretty well today, has Murphy.
They don't realise, the fans here, as we see the decision again. Lee Murphy, look, the strip's fine. Stephen Clark pointed that out. If he's called held, into the section, no argument. Murphy is penalised, and I'm sure the fans here, they're not aware of that. Anyway, it's Halligan with a kick. 45 metres out from the St. George line. And this for a 4-point advantage. Halligan landed 4 from 4 last week versus the Steelers. His warm-up, if you like, for finals time. 30 straight goals at one stage this year, a world record. Halligan, 45 metres out, on its way again from the big D and short. And Lanahan comes back for St. George. Wasn't expecting that result. I thought left or right of the post perhaps, but not that short. Canterbury in the stands, the brains crushed Steve Folkes in his first year of first-grade coaching with Terry Lamb at his side. St. George, another penalty. They've had a few to get them out of trouble. I know the Dragons fans have blown up a number of times at Clark today, but probably at least 3 occasions he's given them penalties coming out of their own 30-metre zone. And here's Robbie Simpson. Hetherington there. The Stone, Simpson, strong effort, offloading with Mundine. There's the step from Mundine. Not fallen for or beaten with Stephen Price. Brown, back for Ward. Inside the 40 now. Ward got through the first line. Falling off in defence was Ralph. A little shake of the head after he missed the tackle too. Brown away with Rodwell. He decides to have a dash, but Price was up quickly. Second man in was Hetherington. Now Brown. 25 out, Mundine. Attacking the centre. Mundine doesn't pass to Murphy. Now he passes Tracy. Tried to bat it on. Bronca steps over the top of it. Canterbury are away. Well, St. George blundering their way in an attacking zone. Norton slips the pass. This is away at Hughes. Now for Leicester. 30 metres out from the St. George line. And the Dragons, they're struggling to get back on side. As wave after wave, the blue and whites come through. Pass from Hughes. It was knocked down. Play on, says Clark.
Well, what a game. This is just absolutely sensational stuff here at Cogra. And the crowd are playing as big a part as anyone out there. It was awful stuff from St. George, fumbling and bumbling and stumbling, mumbling their way through the game, they are. Terrible stuff. And Canterbury nearly got another try.
And here's Thompson for the Dragons. To halfway. Stone the tackler. Now Brown. It settles down again. Simpson. Still no change to that half-time score. That's the key thing. 14-12. 14 minutes gone, and we've packed plenty into this 14 since the break. Mundine on the last tackle. Blacklock kicks over the top. He's tripped on the way through. Silver comes up with a grab. Well, the crowd's not happy now. They thought there was interference on Blacklock. Touch judges stood firm. Let's have a look at the replay.
And Stephen Clark was right nearby. No doubt about it. Well, no, I just think he tripped over his own legs.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was a forward pass involved anyway, so it's gone in the way of Canterbury. And as they go forward once again, Brown, I reckon, has been a difference in this half, coming back on the field and starting with St. George, has really got his forward pack working around the ruck area a lot better.
There's the attendance figure for today, just under 17,000. Stephen Clark will have to work his way past 16,000 of them at full time. Murphy over his head. Back to the goal line. Lee Murphy, will he link up with Blacklock this time? Oh, that's defence from Price.
Well,
that will lift his team.
How valuable is this? Stephen Price, the big second row, up there to make the tackle on the fullback Murphy. Just tremendous stuff. That will really lift this side now. With
a capital D from Stephen Price. Blacklock under pressure on the pass. Hughes all over him. Two of the Hughes boys out there now. Glenn and Corey. And Mundine. Skipped when he gets the ball, and Price was around his legs again. Up with Pearson. Thompson carries over the 30-metre line. 5 tackles gone. Nathan Brown will get this left footer in, sending Silver on a scurry across field. He'll have a little bit of room to move Rod Silver. Look out for the step from Rocket Rod. Tried to get around Tracy. Wrapped up by Brunker. Talau. Thompson is back out there now. Young Tyro making 15 metres. Hetherington. Bulldogs still on top, leading by 2. Martini taking some pressure off the forwards. Got it back to the 40-metre line. Blindside now. Barry Ward. Rugged stuff over the top from Simpson. Applied the headlock. And Ward, I think, got his number for next time. Grimaldi. Taken by Mundine. 45 metres out from the St. George line. Last tackle, Hughes kicking straight down the centre. It'll bring Lenihan into play. Jim Lenihan from Ipswich in this St. George side. And tackled 15 metres out. Sudden death today for one of these two teams, as it was for Manly last night at Bruce Stadium. Tracy over the 30-metre line.
That's 3! Hold it. Get up there, Marcus.
Nathan Brown at dummy half. Colin Ward. Tonight, of course, Parramatta and North Sydney. Tomorrow, we get a chance to have a look at the Melbourne Storm and the Sydney City Roosters. That coming your way from Olympic Park. 4 o'clock on your screens. The Wide World of Sports. We're absorbed at the moment by this one. Rodwell's kick. A 35-metre gain from the Saints half.
One of the things, that is a very good kick here by Rodwell. Put the ball down, just slow it down for a side. Both sides looking very tight around the ruck area. But St. George, what they did so well in the first half, playing on the edges of the ruck of Canterbury, who played that up and in defence. That's where they need to get the ball. They need to get the ball at least 3 wide and play on the edges.
Let's take a sideline comment from Paul Harrigan.
Yeah, this is great Southern Death Rugby League. This game is just waiting for someone to stand up and take control. There's a lot of mistakes at the moment. Whoever can get control and make the most of it will take it out.
28-16 it was the last time these teams met in round 22. A win to the Bulldogs here at Cogra, and St. George have only lost twice here this year. And on one occasion, of course, it was to Canterbury.
Yeah, the chief, they're saying this game is ready to open up. I wonder who it's going to be, which individual. Will it be Rod Silver? Will it be Mark Coyne? A mistake now from the Bulldogs. Will it be Anthony Mundine for the St. George side? An enthralling 20 minutes still left in this match.
Brown was revving up the troops after this era.
Yes, I'll tell you what, he's the man that's going to turn him around. Willie Talau coming up with a mistake. He's had a very, very good game here today up in defence and running the ball up very strongly. He'll make sure he defends strong here today with his team. St. George side only around about 28 metres out from the try line.
So, key moment of this match. We'll take a break. The Doggies up by 2. Welcome back. Big play here for St. George at the 58-minute mark. A scrum 25 metres out from the Canterbury line. Off a drop ball by Talau. The Dragons, they attack the blind side. Coyne's pass, trouble. Almost lost Lenahan. Half a metre in from the sideline, he gathered it in. Talau clears himself of Lenahan, and we're back to tours as St. George are 25 metres out from the Canterbury line. Hughes and Norton in the defence that time. Brown at first receiver. Where are the runners? Pearson, a little shallow. And Brown, Ward there, running off his hip. Ward hoping for an offload. The Canterbury defence equal to the task. Norton and Ward that time. In fact, it was Hughes there. Rodwell up to the line. He was allowed to dart. They shut him down at the last moment. This is tackle 5. Brown back with Coyne. Wider there with Mundine. Mundine tries the short kick. Price gets across. The clean-up work from Stephen Price.
Stephen Price, great stuff by this cover defending second row on that occasion. He's been everywhere today, Price. Had an absolute blinder. Gets there to save that Anthony Mundine chip.
And Thompson. They passed well wide before putting the kick in, St. George, on that last play. No hope of getting the ball in goal. Olamauta. With his hand up is Grimaldi. Last tackle just outside their 30, Canterbury. That kick has been charged down by Rodwell. Comes the way of Coyne. Got past Martini. 30 metres out for Blacklock. Watch his footwork. Nathan Blacklock. 15 metres out from the Canterbury line. Hardy at dummy half. There's been a few telling charge downs in this match. It comes back to Blacklock on the spin offloading for Simpson. 5 out. Halligan over the top, wrapping up the ball. Polamatta was low. Blacklock. Brown. The Dragons, they haven't scored since the first 15. Cleaned up Nathan Brown. Good defence again from Price. Ward at dummy half. It comes back for Mundine. There's the long ball for Tracy. Tracy trying to get through. Got the pass back for Lenahan. Just short of the try line. St. George, they have another shot. And wrapped up. Last tackle. Dragons. Well, they get the good kick in this time. Brown kicking across field. They're onside. Look at the charge of the red and whites. It comes loose. Who's got it? It may be Hardy. It may be Coyne. It'll be the video referee to make the call.
It is one of them, but has it gone forward off a St. George hand?
Halligan, I think, dropped the ball first. And then I just want to see what happened after there, whether St. George forced it or they lost it as well.
Okay, referee saying he thought that Halligan got to it first and knocked it down. that's the case, it's play on. No, I reckon it's come off a St. George hand there. I think it's Blacklock. Hardy's definitely grounded it, but the referee, the video referee has got to decide whether that came off St. George hand or Daryl Halligan.
Well, Paul Vorton, I think you've summed it up. I think he's got his hand to it. His right hand has touched the ball. They both all go up for the ball. There, just before Halligan was going to touch it. I think you're right, Paul Vorton, and that is maybe a knock on.
Well, let's watch it. Halligan and Blacklock is there. Well, gee, I'm not as thoroughly convinced as you. Video referee has another look at it. Simpson did.
No doubt about it, Andrew.
Yeah. Blacklock's right
off Blacklock. Yep, no doubt about it.
I really are trying to see if his right arm does get there. I think it does. I think it's pretty summed up.
I'm going hiding though if it's no try in front of these fans. They're convinced it's a 4-pointer. He can go for the ref's call if he wants. And you heard the referee, he thought it was off Halligan. So if it goes to the ref's call, no try. No try to the Dragons. Well, supporters, they're all looking round at us. The consensus of opinion in the box, the right decision. Ian Parnaby. Now the fans have got his number as well.
You don't want to leave this ground.
And he got a lift here with Stephen Clark. You want to know your luck. Olamata, a dummy half for Canterbury. Brett. They're on their own 40, Canterbury.
I think the first team that actually decides to run the ball on the last tackle is going to make heaps of yards, or maybe come up with a try, because they're only running one out to try and put pressure on the kicker.
Still plenty of time. 18 minutes remaining. Norton's kick from outside the 40. It's off the side of the boot from Norton. One bounce over the sideline. His heart was in his mouth though, Travis Norton.
They're just really rushing the kick there, Travis Norton. But you can see all the Canterbury players, they're all offside by a mile. They're getting in front of their kicker. Get down there to chase. They have to give out 10 metres. As I said, I think they need to get a little bit wider, maybe 2 passes, and then kick the ball downfield.
Here we go, boys. Hold it steady. In we get Luke.
11 times these teams have clashed in finals football. Canterbury have won 6, St. George 5. 3 times in grand finals. And Canterbury with the advantage there as well. The only thing on the mind of the fans right at the moment and the players is this last 20. And importantly, St. George down by 2. Having led 12 points to 0. Thompson up with Brown. Both teams with the potential to score long-range tries. Tracy has been shut down. Well, and that time it was by Tallow. On their 30, Brown away with Felsh. Oh, bruising stuff from Brett. On the young front rower. Last tackle. Brown's kick from dummy half. A good one. Past Lester. Lester back to his own 10-metre line. The young winger comes back. Brunker, the first man there, and Grimes. Almost back to the 10-metre line.
A tremendous work there by St. George. Good kick out of the dummy half area, Brown. Putting the Canterbury side under pressure now in their own 20.
The game now becomes just a dead set test of character. Each player's got to decide where he wants to be at any given time. If he can make a second effort to get somewhere that he possibly shouldn't be, maybe to save a try or back up a break. That's what it's all about the last 15 minutes.
Brett, excellent offload. You saw there on that play, Canterbury with Grimaldi. Headed across field. A reminder too about the Sunday Footy Show. Guests of ours will be former Canterbury coaches Chris Anderson and Phil Gould. Combatants tomorrow at Olympic Park. It was deep, fielded by Murphy. Taken in the tackle of Norton. No points since half-time. Real finals football. And Murphy away for Brown. Over the head of Mundine, finding Hardy. An opposition half. Narrowly in favour of Canterbury. That wasn't the way for the first 20 minutes of this match. They hardly registered the Bulldogs. There's Mundine. Backwards. Got through one. Offloading. Brunker. Now for Lenihan. Lenihan back for Brunker. 30 metres out from the line. Here is the man. 15 metres out, offloading, and it doesn't go over the sideline. Canterbury have it.
Oh, they've hung on. Exciting stuff there from the Dragons down the left-hand side of the field. And I spoke about second efforts. A bloke called Travis Norton got across in cover, and then Rod Silver finished it off. Archie Brunker sets up his outside man in Lenahan. There was Norton there to just hold the play up for a fraction, and the good tackle.
Big thing about they played on the outside of Willie Talal, making an initial break down that side, that left-hand side. Just got to get there and back each other up once again.
Hughes offloading for Grimaldi. Offloads coming from some of the bench players. Polomata. Danny to Ralph, and then kicking. Haven't they been worked over, the two fullbacks, Murphy and Silva? Murphy trying to raise it up to top pace. Long ball for Brunker. Attacking from inside their 20. Talal. Just 8 first-grade games to his credit, Willie Talal. And here he is in the finals. He's come through the ranks of even Metropolitan Cup this year to first grade. Nathan Brown, back for Felsh. Short of the 30-metre line, lost the ball. That could be the turning point. As now Ralph carries it to the 20-metre line. Second phase play, Hetherington. And back with Stone, offloading again to Ralph. What about the commitment of Robert Ralph off the deck to get the return ball? 10 out. Hetherington. Polomata. They're lining up there. Polomata picks out Grimaldi. 5 out from the line. Mundine hanging on. And now Martini with Polomata. Trying to weave his way through. Polomata into the tackle of Murphy. Almost stumbled his way over the try line. He's been hurt, Polomata too. Slow to get to his feet. Hughes, a dummy half. Up with Stone. Will this be the try? Stone, he can't offload. He's lost it. There'll be no try there. Nathan Brown is with it for St. George.
Very unlucky there for the Canterbury side. I think Stone should have been the man that was receiving the ball at first receiver. Just couldn't get the ball on the outside. That's where they need to go, both sides. Get it out nice and wide. This is Polomata getting there nice and close. And the next pass is dropped by Stone. So close here, Polomata, just trying to get to his feet and push himself over. Once again, the fullback, Lee Murphy, did a magnificent job in defence.
He keeps his feet, he probably does score. Would have put some sort of step and carried Murphy over with him. Here's Pearson. Oh, they're pushing some passes now. Still 13 remaining here at Cogra. Sudden death. And Felsh has lost it again. Felsh has lost it again for St. George. Canterbury, 25 metres out. Full set of 6 to work with. It's Stone trying to march through the tackle of Rodwell. Hetherington in a dummy half. Now Polomata, and he's recovered. Would have knocked him down with a pickaxe right at the moment at this stage of the game. Silva, slow to clear the ruck. It comes up for Darren Brett. Can't pass that time. Tracy there in defence. Silva away with Hetherington. Nice turn of the ball back for Ralph. Well, but Ralph was looking to offload. 5 out. Now they'll have a charge from dummy half. Talal. He was wanting to stretch out. Last tackle. Will they get a kick in? Polomata. It comes up there. It's called forward. Changeover.
Oh, they're playing good football, Canterbury. They can't complete their sets of 6. That's been the problem the last 2 times they've had the football. And now St. George, time's starting to run out.
I think this is where Anthony Mundine needs to get in and start running the ball nice and wide early on the tackle count against Canterbury, because they're all looking very tight, especially around the ruck area.
Gary, don't rule Nathan Blacklock out of the equation either. Against some tiring defenders. Pearson to the 40-metre line. Mundine is there. And with a dummy, almost to halfway. Hetherington over the top. Last tackle. Nathan Brown. What kick will they provide this time? Brown, short kick. There's Blacklock. 20 metres out, step Silva. Nathan Blacklock. It's been knocked down by Canterbury. Lester got the hand in there. Knocked down. No drama at all with the decision. St. George will get the scrum fee.
He's called a knock on. What about the tackle? I think it was from Walden. Came from nowhere.
Big finish coming up here. We'll take a break. 11 to go. 14-12. Welcome back. 11 remaining. St. George a scrum fee. 10 out from the line, and the Fans are chanting. Rodwell, straight from the scrum! Matthew Rodwell, just short. Dragons all set to the right. Slow play the ball. Coyne up with Hardy, no panic. Play up this set with Mundine. He loses the ball and over the sideline. There's an appeal from Anthony that it was off a Canterbury hand. Well, there's confusion here.
Rodwell gets so close. Strong defence from Stephen Hughes. And then from here, what happens?
He's ruled a Canterbury knock on here.
I don't know about that. I just thought that Mundine lost the ball forward trying to pass it.
Yeah, I think Halligan was making the tackle, wasn't playing at the ball. He was just trying to make the tackle. He ruled in the end a knock on both ways. First one against Canterbury. Here's Rodwell. Overhead ball, over the head, way over the head of Coyne. And what about that? They've lost 20 metres, maybe 25.
Well, that's a voluntary tackle there by Anthony Mundine. Not a hand was laid on him. That was a penalty to Canterbury to get them out of trouble.
20 metres out, Brown. And Ward. Brown. Oh, geez, a voluntary tackle. Tackle penalty at go down well now in front of the Saints fans. Here's Thompson. 10 out. Martini throws him to ground. Almost loses the jumper in the process. Brown back to Ward. 2 points is the margin. That is the way it was at the end of 40 minutes. Rodwell up there with Mundine. That's the step from Anthony past 2. 10 metres out. He's still alive, Anthony Mundine. He made 15, lost 5 at the finish. Clark saying get off. Saints wanted the penalty. Rodwell. Long ball for Lenihan. And Lenihan has pushed back.
Great defence, Leicester.
Under pressure too. Rodwell. Short kick. Is it too deep? Silver getting across. It is too deep. They'll have to come back to the 20. And Canterbury will take all the time in the world.
And that's what the Bulldogs needed. Some great defence. Some of these players just keep turning up. Robert Relf made a super tackle on Mundine a minute ago. That was a good one by Leicester. In the end, Matt Rodwell's kicking game today has been pretty good. He'd like to have that one again.
He certainly would, but it was down the left. Let's say the try on the far side. Rod Silver there just pushing the ball over. Like an extra 20 metre start. The Bulldogs are really going to work hard now to get out of this their own 50 and get a good kick in. I still maintain, go too wide and run the ball in the last tackle against St.George. We're not coming up at all in defence.
Well, let's hope tonight's every bit as gripping as this one. We'll have it live for you from Parramatta Stadium, the Eels and the Bears. 6:30. Right now, Canterbury in possession. Up by 2. 5 metres inside St. George territory. Polamatta kicking. A couple of the chasers offside. Halligan's not. He's leading the charge. Murphy's back in goal. Perfectly weighted kick from Polamatta. Murphy. Oh, that's as good as a try at this stage. To get back to the field of play. Well, not quite when you're down by 2, I suppose, as Blacklock is upended in the tackle. And there's been plenty of that variety from Hetherington today. St. George with Coyne running and offloading. All hands on deck back inside their own 20, even though some of them are out on their feet. Lenihan taking off, tackled by Price. Stephen Price, 21 tackles. Lion-hearted performance. Ward is with it for the Saints. Just under 17,000 fans here watching this one at Cogra. Last tackle. A kick downfield between Silver and Halligan. Looking for the chasers. There are 6 there for the Dragons. Halligan happy to accept the tackle on the 30-metre line. And Pearson and Thompson, the duo. Silver back with Martini to the 40.
He's Martini's fielding well today, hasn't he? From Matthew Ryan. Tremendous. Oh, ball!
Hetherington to Silver. They've called it forward. Well, I'm not sure he got a call from the touch judge. I think he's made that decision off his own back, Stephen Clark.
Well, we're right in line with that one. That pass actually looked all right. It looked very, very good. Good ball. Ooh, well, Cam Wrangle shows that what did go slightly forward. He was away under the stick, Silver.
What's the story?
The touch judge on the eastern side's got no hope of seeing it.
Get in.
Shielding his eyes from the sun. I think the call was entirely Stephen Clark's. Here's Coyne from the scrum wing. Crossfield, trying to get away from Martini. Now trying to get away from Grimaldi. Grimaldi finishes him off in grand fashion. Comes in for Thompson. Hetherington, look at them. Coming in from all directions, left, right and centre. The Canterbury defence hungry on Lance Thompson. Mundine back with Brown. Then over for Ward. Support just dropping off at the moment for St. George. The key time. The season could well be over in 6 minutes' time. Nathan Brown, 45 metres out, gets the short kick in. Ralph is back. That was a kick of a side playing, well, having the last throw.
You tell that Nathan Brown, I don't think is fully fit. He would have got that ball and beaten Robert Ralph. The second row played pretty well. He gets a bit of a rest now. He's done a lot of work for them as Jason Hetherington takes a little dart out of dummy half.
Donald's putting up $1,000 for our man of the match, and there's plenty of contenders today in this elimination final. There's Hughes, tackled 45 metres out. Lester got into dummy half from Ward. Strong carry from Barry Ward, offloading for Grimaldi. Then up with Martini. 15 metres out, Martini steps the fullback. Shane Martini has scored the match-winning try. A dream come true for the young Queenslander. Shane Martini for the Doggies. The Blue and Whites, dare I say, they're home.
Yeah, that should wrap it up for them. A great performance by the Canterbury side. Fantastic effort. Big bad Barry Ward. Grimaldi's been sensational. And then some tragic defence by the St. George side. They're tired, they're down and out. And Martini gets over. He beat 4 of them.
He certainly did. It was great work here by Barry Ward to go forward and then turn his back. Look for sign they were tired, the St. George players. Mundine and, of course, Coyne. They started to slide a little bit too early. They should have gone forward to put some pressure on this guy in Martini. He's had a magnificent game. Everyone thought he was going for all money there. Just wrong steps, the fullback and Lee Murphy. He's had a big game. And, mate, that will certainly seal the victory for the Canterbury side. And isn't he happy?
Young Martini from St. Brendan's Yeppoon. This young bloke brought to the club by Moore Nelson Incorporated a few seasons ago. He scores the most crucial try of his short first-grade career. Halligan, he won't flinch having this kick. 15 metres out. Yeah, the crowd, there's a bit of an exodus. A few of them are going to stay here though. Halligan's kick, successful. The margin is 8 here at Cogra. There are plenty of Canterbury fans here as well, and they're doing a bit of a jig right now. Chief, this try, the sealer.
It's an absolute bottle. This game is up for grabs, and tremendous ball here. And young Martine, he's breaking a couple of tackles there, kept going, great leg strength, and he's going to power over the try line. That's certainly the game wrapped up. Good effort.
Short kick off. They've got to try everything. Knocked back there by Brunker. Fielded by Mundine. They end up inside their own half from a kick-off. That's a good trick. Here's Custo from dummy half. Hasn't had much game time, Ben Custo.
Not too quick, boy.
Yeah, Chief, it's looked pretty hard from up here. How's it look from ground angle?
Look, it's been a tough battle all day. Both forward packs are out on their feet, and you can just smell that it was a do-or-die effort. One side's going to have a rest shortly, and they've given everything they've had. But that game was really up for the grabs, and Canterbury have taken hold of the game. It's been a great effort by them.
Here's St. George, Rodwell, offloading for Pearson. Joel Kane now out there for St. George. Interesting, that's their 4th replacement. They've taken a while to use a 4th one. As Coyne offloads for Hardy, finds himself on the right wing. Could even be his swan song, Jeff Hardy, these last few minutes for St. George.
I'll tell you what, once again, Stephen Price getting out of the dummy half here, putting a lot of pressure on their kicker. And some poor old Jeff Hardy's out on the wing. Didn't know that was the last tackle. Should probably trying to put the kick in.
Into the dummy half. And with Ward almost back to the 40-metre line. They'll remember his work in the lead up to the match-winning try. 20-12 they lead. They trailed by 12 points to 0, and that was after 10. Hetherington with Price stepping his way over the halfway mark. Some forlorn looks around this Cogra ground right now. Here's Thompson, 40 metres out from the St. George line. Hetherington, last tackle with Polamatta. His kicking, it's been outstanding. He's got them hemmed into the corner again. At this stage of the match, you want a ball finding the sideline, and Polamatta answers that.
A great victory to the Canterbury side, and who's to say they can't go further in this comp with the ruggedness, the toughness they've played today. You'd have to say they've had probably the top 6 or 7 players on ground today, and then you'd find a St. George player worthy of a spot. Polamatta, Barry Ward, Stephen Price, Robert Relf, there's a host of them. Hetherington has come up with 32 tackles. A great effort. Darren Britt, the captain, led the way as well.
And now St. George, one last crack wide. And Fatty, the point is Canterbury running into teams that have been beaten the week before. Canterbury with the momentum. And sides, if you like, losing sides on the rebound. Now there's been a shocking collision here between 3 players. Brunker for St. George. 2 of the doggies are down. One of them is Thompson, and the other is Hughes. Oh, Hughes, Thompson, and Brunker.
I think he was going to pull it up for a high shot there on Brunker by Stephen Hughes. It's more of a grabbing attempt than anything else. And then Whisker.
Well, that's Hughes. Thompson is back to his feet, I'm sure.
It's not the way you want to finish a game. It's been a great game, and to suffer a little nasty gas like that with a minute to go, it's not a game, and he'll be right. David Waite, a good effort by St. George this season, but, you know, the last 2 out of 10 wins, I think that's where their season ended. I thought they'd win today. Got some players back, Nathan Brown and the like, but it wasn't to be. They've been out-muscled all over the park.
I think one of the players too, Paul, that they have missed here today is Wayne Bartram. You know, he does so much cleaning up work around the ruck area for him, gets in there, darts and dummy half, and can put guys through holes. And David Waite, would have loved to have his services out there today, but it wasn't to be.
I don't think Hughes here remembers much of the caution that Clark has just given him. A little word for the high tackle. And what do we learn from that? Thompson's got a harder head than Hughes.
When he comes with having that headgear on, does help.
Glenn Hughes to the bench for Canterbury. Bulldogs through to week 2 of the Sports Tab finals. And what follows all of that, a St. George penalty. So now Rodwell. They just go through the motions in the closing stages. Ward over to offload. Custo wider with Mundine. Still dancing, still trying. Custo is back with it for the Dragons. His last seconds in the red and white. Thompson slips the ball. It was knocked down by Canterbury. Hardy comes up with it. Full count restarts. They may not have time to gain full benefit from that. Ward off the short ball. They're attacking with Rodwell. Loose ball. Leicester went for the intercept. A bit of interference on Gavin Leicester. He said a knock on against Leicester. Joel Kane came up with it. Long ball, Tracy Custo knocks that down. Polamatta with it for Canterbury. And it's all over here at Cogra. It is all over. St. George eliminated from the NRL in '98. Canterbury live to see another week. We'll take a break and come back with Paul to wrap things up, and our McDonald's man of the match.
Well, the $1,000 McDonald's man of the match goes to a man who played superb today. Stephen Price, congratulations. Must be proud of the boys.
Yeah, mate, we've done well over the last 10 weeks. We won 7 out of the last 10, and to get here, and it was a great effort to win at Cogra today against St. George.
Yeah, interesting to say what was said at half-time. Folks, he really got in you, did he?
No, mate, he just sort of said to us, he was pretty happy with the last 20 minutes of the first half. He said we couldn't start like we did in the first half, but if we could finish over top of them at the end, we'd come away with the win.
Yeah, that was a great effort, actually, to come back from 12-0. But as far as your own form, you've been in tremendous form. You must also be happy with that.
Yeah, mate, the State of Origin gave me a bit of confidence, and being coached by Wayne Bennett, folks, has been good this year, and everything's coming together great.
Well, congratulations. Best of luck for next week.
Thanks very much, mate. Thanks to McDonald's.